A very good morning, my dear students, and welcome to Digital World of Patania Public School. But in previous lecture, we learned if elif statement and nested if statement. Today in this video, we learn some other conditions like storing conditions. Storing conditions. Sometimes the condition being used in code are complex and repetitive. Sometimes you need a particular statement again and again. So very complex coding that time generated. In such case, to make your program more attractive, you can use named conditions. We use conditions. That is, you can store conditions in name and then use that name condition in the if statement. So we can say that combination of conditions. We can say that combine in a particular name. So named condition. So topic name is named condition. You can store condition in a particular name and then use that named condition in the if statement. So we are do the decisional statement if condition, but in if condition we use one name. The name is named condition and the named condition is your combination. So store conditions in name. In a particular name you can store multiple times coding. So for example, to create conditions similar to the ones given below, if a deposit is less than 2000 and or 2 or more year in the interest rate is 2 present. If your inputting value, if your deposit value is, if you deposit 2000 rupees and for 2 or more year, the interest is 5%. The interest is 5%. The second condition is, if a deposit is 2000 rupees or more but less than 6000. So if we input our value is 2000 between 6000 and for 2 or more year same time, the interest rate is 7%. The interest rate is 7%. So if you input the 2000 rupees, if you say you deposit and the 2000 rupees for 2 or more year, and then interest rate is 5%. But if you deposit the 2000 and between the 2000 to 6000 rupees, then or for 2 year, the interest rate is 7%. If a deposit is more than 6000, if your inputting value is say rupees 6000 and is for only 1 year, not for 2 year or more, the interest is 8%. So 1 year or more. So it may be 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. On all deposit of 5 years or more, all if on all deposit for 5 year or more, interest is 10% compounded annually. The traditional way of writing code will be, so how you write in if condition? So we write in our program, if the name of the variable is deposit less than 2000 and time greater than equal to 2. So rate is, so how many interest? 5%. So 0.05 you write here. But if you name the conditions separately and use them later in your code, so now we reduce the complexity of our if condition and we write a name. The it adds to readability and understandability of your code. For example, eligible for 5% is equal to, who eligible for the 5%? Who deposit less than 2000 and time greater than equal to 2 years. And who is eligible for 7%? If deposit value is 2000 but less than the 6000, so and time is greater than equal to 2. And what happened if your eligibility is 10%? Who is eligible for the 10% discount? Who deposit greater than 6,000? Beta, change in this 7%, you write down here 2,000 greater than equal to deposit less than 6,000. So here not input the less than we use here only. Okay, so you change the 7% greater than equal to deposit, and then write down less than 6,000, and time is greater than equal to 2 year. So we get the 7% discount. But who get the 8% discount? Deposit. If we deposit the 6,000 rupees, greater than 6,000 rupees, and for greater than equal to 1 year, greater than or equal to, so greater than means one above the 1 year or equal to 1 year. Get the discount 8%. Eligible for 10% time greater than equal to 5. Now you can use these named condition in the code as follow. So which follow? If eligible for if eligible for 5%, rate is equal to 0.05. And if eligible for 7%, rate is equal to 0.075. So now we add this in eligible for 5%, and this we don't write down again and again complete condition if less than this and greater than this. So we named in the particular condition. So you can use name condition in if statement to enhance readability and usability of the conditions. Okay. So now our next is repetition of task. Repetition of task. Repetition of task means beta, if you require if you require repeat any value again and again you need. For example, you want to input 0 to 5, you want to input 1 to 5, you want to input 3 to 7. So 3 4 5 6 7, these are the repetition. We mentioned earlier that there are many situations where you need to repeat same set of tasks again and again. For example, the task making uh, dosa, chapati, upam at home as mentioned earlier. So every time we make the chapati in our house. Now if you have to write pseudo code for this task, how would you do it that? We have already learned the pseudo code in chapter number 5, flowchart, pseudocode and algorithm. So how you write the pseudocode of making the or chapati, dosa or upam. So let us first write the task for making dosa and upam from a prepared batter. So heat flat pan or tawa. First we need to heat the pan. Spread evenly the dosa upam batter on the heated flat pan. So first we need the pan, then heat the pan or tawa, and then spread the evenly batter of the dosa. Flip it carefully after from second. Then we flip our dosa or upam, or and then flip it again after some second. Take it off from pan. To make next dosa program upam, go to the step 2 again. If we want to make a second dosa, then again we spread the upam batter on the tawa, and then we flip it after some time, then again we flip it after some time, and then our dosa will be completed. If we want to make the third dosa, then again your upam go to the step 2. Same like, let us try to write pseudocode for the above task of making dosa and upam as you want to. So write down heat flat pan tawa. Okay, first prepare batter, then heat tawa, then spread batter on flat pan, then flip after 20 seconds, then again flip the dosa or upam after 20 seconds, then take it off from pan. If you want more dosa, then you do the again, otherwise else stop the program. Now what should you write at the place of question mark? Now what we write here in this question mark, so that it starts repeating the process again from the second step. since there is no number associated with step. Okay, here in pseudocode number 1 2 3 4 5 don't written here. So that it start repeating the process again from the second step. Since there is no number associated with step, how can one tell from here to repeat? There is a way out if there is a label. If there is a label that marks the statement from where you want to repeat then task, then we may send the control to that label, and then that statement onward statement get repeated. That is pseudocode reference here. For example, you write down prerequisite colon prepared batter, then heat flat pan, then spread 2 seconds, then spread. So we again and again this process is repeating. So we write down here flip the dosa open after 20 seconds. One time we write here and then go to spread again, and it will be moved again here, then again spread it, then again flip, then again flip, and in last when my dosa or the chapatis are completed, then we stop the program. Okay. Now the above pseudocode is fit to making as many dosa open as you want. You already know that you need only 6 dosa open. In that case above pseudocode will not serve the purpose. Let us try to write pseudocode for this situation. For this we need to maintain a count of dosa and counted dosa and open made. So write down second reference, prerequisite prepared batter, then heat plan, then initial count to 0, then spread batter or flat pan. Okay, then flip dosa 20 seconds, same like above example, but here you see the changes. If count is equal to 6, then stop as go to spread. If my dosas are left, if my dosa equal to 6, then my program will be set. Otherwise we repeat again and again and again all the process. We don't write down again complete condition, we write down only one time and then our program will be executed. But these implementation we see in repeating statement conditions. Okay, if the number if we number the pseudocode statement as A, B, C as shown above for our reference, if you notice carefully the statement are executed as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So you see again C, D, E, F, G, H, I, again C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So statement repeated. Which statement repeated? C, D, E, F, G, H, I, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and then J. Okay, so you can see the statement C to I are repeated 6 times. 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 5 time, 6 times. Or we can say that loop repeated 6 times. Looping statement, repeating statement, iteration statement you can say here. So we do the implementation of practically in repeating statement. This way we can develop logic for carrying out repetitive task either based on a condition pseudocode reference 1 or given number of times pseudocode reference 2. Okay, to carry out the repetitive task, Python does not have any go-to statement. Rather, it provides following iteration looping statement. So, conditional loop while condition based or conditional loop for a given number of times. Okay, so while and for both are the looping statement, both are used for repeating, but while is a conditional loop where we write down greater than 5, less than 5, 6 like this. But for loop, counting loop. For loop is the name of the for loop. Other is counting loop for looping for a given number of times. For example, we want to display the counting 0 to 10, then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So repeating every time, increment of 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So this is your counting loop. So let us learn to write code for repetitive task in Python. Range, very important beta, learn this carefully. So we do the uh, program of repeating statement easily. The range function, very important function beta, range. Before we start the with loops, especially for loop of Python, let us discuss the range function Python, which is used with the Python for loop. The range function of Python generated a list which is specially sequence type. When we need to when we need for loop, then we need the range function also. So a sequence in Python is succession of values bound together by a single name. Some Python sequence type string, list, tuple, etc. We learn later. And there are some advanced sequence types also, but those are beyond the scope of your discussion. So here you see, for example, you want to display the odd number 5, 7, 9, 11. You want to display the even number from 2, 4, 6, 8. You want to display the good you in string. If you want to display the 0 to 10, if you want to display the table of 2, let us see how range function work. So how the range function work? The common use of range is in the form of given below. Range range is the name of the function. Then lower limit, for example, my lower limit is 0, my lower limit is starting from the 1. And if we want to write down the 2 table, then my starting and lower limit is 2. But if we want to write down the uh, table of 5, then my lower limit is 5 here. Okay, so upper limit, but if we write down the 5 table, then my maximum and upper limit is 50. But if for example, and but if we want to write down the 0 to 10 counting, so my lower limit is 0 and my upper limit is 10. So both limits should be integer. So you write down this condition only in integer in the range function. The function in the form of range IU will produce a list having value starting plus 1 or plus 2 or plus minus u minus v. So L, lower limit is your starting value, for example 0 1, or you write down the lower limit plus 1, or you write down the lower limit plus 2, you write down the lower limit plus 3, you write down the lower limit plus 5, or upper limit up to last limit. For example, we taken here lower limit is 5, then lower limit plus again 5, so 10, then again 10 plus 5 15, then 15 plus 5, and up to u minus 1, up to u minus 1 your upper limit minus 1. So please note that the lower limit is included in the list, but upper limit is not included in the list. So if we decide here lower limit is 50, so you write down here 51, don't write down here 50. Why? Because upper limit minus 1. Why? Because our range always, our looping always, our conditions always start from the 0. So addressing or indexing of conditions always start from the 0. So the upper limit minus 1. So here we range is 0 and comma 5. So initial value is 0 and maximum value is 5. So what we display here 0 1 2 3 4, not display the 5 here because the rule is upper limit minus 1, so u minus 1. So you decide here, if you want to display the 0 to 5, then you write down here 0 comma 6. This is the function of your range. As these are the number in arithmetic expression, very important, but listen carefully and learn this point, and do the practical of these in next video in looping statement that begins with lower limit 0 and goes up till upper limit minus. So maximum is 5, so 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. So if you want to display the 10 0 to 10 counting, then the maximum is 10, so we take 0 comma 11, then display the 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. But if you decide 0 to 10, then only 9, 0 to 9 value will be displayed, 0 to 9 counting will be displayed. Okay, uh, will return will return empty list as no number falls in arithmetic progression, begin with 5 and ending at 0, or step minus value is equal to plus 1. So you write down 12 comma 18, default step value is plus 1, default is plus 1, but if you want to enter plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, so you decided, no problem here. And all the above example range produce number increasing by value 1. What if you want to produce a list number having gap from more than 1 other than 1, you want to produce a list like 2, 4, 6, 8 range function, then what we decide here? Lower limit, upper limit and step value. For example, my lower limit is 2 and my upper limit is, for example, I have written here 20 2. Okay, then step value is comma 2. So it incremented plus 2. So first time 2, then 2 plus 2 4, then 2 plus 2 6, then 8, then 8 10, then 12 14 16 18 20. So maximum is 20. Why? Because less than 1. So less than 1 is 21. So you write down here 21 instead of 22. Okay, so after that you check here, that is function lower limit, upper limit and step 0 comma 10 comma 2. So starting from the 0, maximum is 10 and step 2 2 2, so increment of the 2 2. So first time it display the 0, second time it display the 2, then 4, then 6, then 8. Why the maximum 8? Because 2 to gap. So if we write down 12 here, then it display, and if you write down the 11, then also it display the 10 plus 2, 10. Okay. Uh, so after that, for example, if you want to write down the decrement operator, if you descending order, if you want to display your list in the descending order, then what we should write here? The step value minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. For example, we want to display the counting 5 to 0. So first time 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 0, if we want. Then you write down minus 1. So be careful here. Be careful here. Indexing, we have learned here positive indexing and negative indexing, and in positive indexing always start from the 0, but in negative indexing always start with the minus 1, minus 1 then minus 2. So here you decide your first value, upper value, and here you decide your lower value. So you write down 5 4 3 2 1 always. Another form of range is just write down range and number. So here you write down the 5, so automatically it display 0 to 4. Another examples here, if you want to display the write down here range 10, so it display 0 to 9. If you write down 5 and 10, so initial value is 5, maximum is 10, so it increment 1 1 1, so it write down 5 6 7 8 9. If you write down 3 and 7, so minimum value is 3 and maximum value is 6. Why? Because upper minus 1, so upper value is 7, minus 1 is your 6. Next is your starting value, your lower limit is 5, your upper limit is 15 comma 3. So step value is 3. So first time 5, then 8, then 11, then maximum is 15. So minus 1 14, so maximum value is your 14. After minus 1, if you want to display, so start from the 9, then minus 1 8, then minus 1 7, then minus 1 6, then minus 1 5, then minus 1 4. Okay, so here you take one extra. Because indexing always start from the minus 1 and positive indexing always start with the 0. We already learned in the previous chapter. So range start from the 10 1 minus 2. So here 10 8 6 2 6 4 2 will be displayed. Operator in and in here, two term here, operator in and not in operator. So in operator and not in operator. You write down range function in this way. Otherwise, we also use in operator or not in operator also. Let us take in operator, which is used with range in for loops. To check whether a value is contained inside a list, you can use in operator. In, inside, not in, not inside. If our values inputted value is inside the list, then we use the in operator. But if we have already learned about the in and not operator, not in operator. So again we just revise here. If we write down the in, is it means inputting value is between our list or our tuple or dictionary. But when we write down the not in, it means that value not included in our list. So if we write down 3 in 3 in the list 1 2 3, yes, our answer is true. But when we write down not in, so our answer is false, because 3 is present in this list. Will return true as value 3 is contained in sequence 1 2 3 4 5 in 1 2 3 4 5. No, false. So it display the answer false. But when we write down the 5 not in, so our answer is true. Yes, 5 is not in this list available. Okay, you can see that in and not in are the operator that check for membership of a value in sequence. Membership of a value inside a list, inside a sequence. Thus in or not in are also called a membership operator. These operators work with all sequence types: string, tuple, list, and all these etc., like dictionary and all. And now, for example, consider the following: A in trade. So here you see A in trade. Yes, A in trade. So A is there. So its answer is true. ASH in trace. ASH. Yes, here is ASH. So its answer is true. So now consider the following code that use the in operator: line. Here you input a value. Line is equal to input, enter a line. You input any value here. String is equal, better do the practical of this program. String is equal to input, enter a string. Now you input any string. This string will be inputted by the user. If string in line, if your